right. That time it actually worked. Gotta love it. Let's see if I've actually got a mic working. 1 minute. For some reason, I feel like, oh yeah, it's working. It's lighting up, so it should be good. Welcome to the broadcast, everyone. This is Best AI Podcast. I'm your host, Leland Best, coming to you from Corona, Michigan, along the Shiawassee River today. I'm going to be rolling solo because everybody seems to be busy. They're doing their thing. Lee Love just had cataract surgery. He's given his well wishes to a speedy recovery. I know he's got one eye done. He's looking at doing another. So we're hoping for him to be back as he keeps begging to be here one day. I'm sure he will be. Ross McCamey running his businesses as usual, just getting things done. So he's on a main line to just try and build, along with Chris Stroker, who's doing a lot of stuff out there as well. So I did touch base with Chris last night. Him and I got to sit down and talk a little bit about what's going on in AI and what's happening in the world of SaaS and things of that nature. So that was a good talk. Along with the fact that Kyrie is doing the family gig today. He's got to play mama, he says. He's got to take care of his daughter, run her to uh, some type of event or situation. So more power to you, daddy. Do your thing. I love it. I love it. I love it. So Jim of Crib Ops, obviously, we're not going to be seeing Jim over here too much anymore. He's finally finalized the Crib Ops product, and he will be stopping by on occasion, I'm sure. But there's also going to be a format change. So a lot going on here at the podcast. What I'm seeing happening, obviously, is a lot is going on. So let me check the chat real quick. I'm going to have a live stream chat here off to the side. If you're coming in from anywhere, it's probably from my profile on Facebook, the YouTube channel out at Best AI TV, or you're seeing me out on LinkedIn. So we've only done a few broadcasts out here so far, and I just want to thank those people out on LinkedIn who are engaging with the posts that I'm providing out on the website, and also showing up for some of the podcast replays. Obviously, we have not done a lot with regards to any of the audio foundation for the podcast, because it's not really an audio only type situation where you do honestly have to have some type of display of content. You have to show some stuff, so it's very difficult to just justify having an audio only podcast version. Though I think with what's happening now and what's going on in the podcast space, honestly, you see a lot of these video podcasts taking place. I think having some discussions with some of the people in the space, in the arena of AI, and having them on the show a little more than we have in the past, which has just been the six of us in total that come out here on a regular basis. It's who's ever available, pops in, shows up. We would like to kind of turn this around a little bit and make it, more of a workshop, as we've always been hoping for, but also a means for you folks out there to get to meet some of the bigger players within the industry. And I'm sure I can get a hold of some of these guys and ask for them to come on the broadcast, because this is something I used to do quite often, which was just a straight one-on-one interview type show. And so I have no problem changing the format of the show for the sake of everybody else's freedom, so that they can go do what they need to do on Wednesday at noon. I totally understand. It was kind of an experiment that I had proposed to a bunch of individuals, and we just wanted to see what would happen in the space, that we were all in different aspects of it. Some of us were actually in the same space quite a bit. So let me check on Facebook real quick. I want to go take a look at if anybody's taking a peek, just so I can maintain any conversations that are going on out there. So just hold on a second. I do want to make sure I'm even being seen out there. But I'm going to take it slow today. Yep, I do have a live feed. All right, perfect. So we're good to go. What we're going to do today is I'm just going to kind of run through where we're at, and give you guys a feel for what I'm able to do in the AI space, what I've built with the AI tools that I have as well. So I'm going to start giving you guys a better handle on how I operate, in a sense. So if you've seen already, you may have been to the community, and I'm going to head over there in just a second. So I'm going to start sharing the screen a little bit so you guys can get a better feel of what I'm up to. I'm going to take an entire screen view over here on the left. So I'll be turning my head off to the side a little bit. Basically, I run along two lines right now. You guys may all know me as someone who runs Best Live TV, which is still fully functional. Best Live TV was where I produced a lot of event uh, productions basically for other people, in essence podcasting, live events. I actually have an event that I'm doing in May for John Peasy. You may know John Peasy as an America's Got Talent finalist. He's got a little nurses thing. We do a lot of work with John when it comes to hospital charity events. So he calls me when it's time to work with the nurses at the hospital and things of that nature, and we get a big Zoom event together, and Johnny does his ventriloquism and his magic and his mysticism and mental stuff that he does, and we get guests on. So it's a pretty fun time, and that will continue to be. I don't ever see myself pulling fully out of the limelight when it comes to live streaming. The books are still available, so if you do want to go grab the best live guides that I wrote back from 2017 and revised in 2020, was the best live guide one, which is kind of building your own home studio so that you get a better understanding of how to take the equipment like we use here on the Best AI podcast and build it yourself. I'm broadcasting right out of my home in a small 3-season room out on the river, so it's not anything anyone else couldn't do. If you see at the bottom of the website, actually, you can head back to the main page here. If you just scroll down, you'll see my setup. This is a former location, but this is very much in line, except for a couple of stream decks, maybe, in line with what I have set up right now where I'm sitting. So this is the way I operate. This is the functional system that I've built over time with 3 machines, actually. This is a 2 PC build here. And then alongside of this, I have a small M1 Mac Mini that runs most of my automation work. So that will be getting more in depth to in the community. I mentioned just the other day, and we'll go there in just a moment, what's happening with Best Live TV and AIO. The 2 brands that I'm really running under Best Live TV are the broadcast for Best AI podcast, under the brand Best AI TV, which is just another YouTube channel so that we can get a little more traction with the branding and the keywords. And then from there, I run a program under this, which is known as Best Live TV's Smile TV program. And what that is I implement a business strategy for marketing, a strategic uh, multimedia business strategy, you might say. There's a video here that you can watch that was made back in 22 on what it's about in a sense, but the idea is to create content with less friction. It's to, rather than just create a bunch of pre-contextual information that might not be relevant in a month or two. Say you program out your whole month with stuff that might not be relevant in 20 days, or you're programming your whole social media calendar out for a year like some people do, and then discover, oh well, this site doesn't even exist anymore, things like that. So the idea is to sit down with the CEO of the company and let them know that it's their face, their goal, their passion to the product that they're developing or service they're providing, that is key to connecting with their audience and connecting with their consumer. So we sit down for an hour, we talk about the whole process and try to pull out of them the reason they're doing what they're doing. And it's that kind of footage, that kind of content that makes for really good storyline basis for individuals that are running businesses that might not have, really thought it all out and put it down as to how they should present themselves to the public. So we offer this service. It's the Smile representation is actually strategic marketing, implementing uh, if I can remember how I wrote this, if you take it back in time, I tried to make an acronym out of Smile TV to its fullest because it was all about transcribed video. So I was using strategic marketing, implementing live engagement through transcribed video. Okay. I was just coming up with all kinds of different names that I could use, and Smile TV was born. So I use this as a means to just develop content for people. And if you're developing your own content, great. But we're going to kind of take the Smile program to another level. And what we're going to do is incorporate the interview process with the automation process so that the deliverables will, one, be much more succinct and immediate from the point of the interview rather than having to wait through the process of developing the strategic action steps that we'll take after the fact, versus being able to apply AI to the strategy and let it do a lot of the heavy lifting and provide the reports, provide the outputs that we need to know what to do next. So that's really where Best Live TV stands currently. And it will also continue to produce content on YouTube in one fashion or another, whether it's through event broadcasting or whether it's through my own broadcasting personally. And then there is the other concept that is being developed in AI. And I built the entire process around an all in one idea. Okay. A lot of these all in one platforms were coming out, and we felt it was a good move a few years ago to just say, you know what, we really need to find that ultimate all in one type platform where we don't have to go around and buy out and pay for all these different kinds of software platforms to make things happen. And so AIO in my mind was born, and I started to look into all things AIO. And so AIO Academy was something that I knew would come around at some point because I've always been a teacher type since high school. I've taught little kids Apple computers, Apple IICs back in the day. So I've always had an urge to show people things and show them how to do things and maybe find ways to do newer things. So AIO as a CRM is a software SaaS that we developed over the last few years. And if you simply head to aiocrm.org, what you're going to find is what I took you to originally. The portal there is the community. The organization itself, which I've put together under the AIO brand, AIO CRM, AIO Flow is a part of that. You may have seen me promoting that in the past, but it's not all that it is. And right now we're kind of reconsidering the branding of that as well, because AIO Flows is nice. It's nice and short. We'll probably use that domain as a hinge pin for our linking and all of our internal routing, and because short domains are nice to work with. AIO workflows is something we've considered moving forward with. But if you want to see what we're actually producing as, quote, an all-in-one organization, this comes down to several things, and that is education for AI's sake, because not many people fully understand AI at this time. So we want to be able to provide that type of educational platform. And that's what AIO Academy is about. Now, it originally started as a one off on a platform separate from this actual build that I'm in right now. So, this is a platform known as Online Course Host. Okay. I purchased into a white label version of Online Course Host. I labeled it as AIO Academy.online, and I started to build out courses for some individuals. One was the Laces CRM, which we were building for. It was a white labeled knockoff of AIO for the stream or the sneaker and streetwear community, which just kind of fell down. It was one of those processes. The owners weren't as interested in building the SaaS end of things as I had anticipated, and they basically went more into the inventory end of things and started providing the actual product itself. So, and then we started to build out the blueprint to building the perfect white label system for New Oaks, which Ray Luan and I are good friends. We've been running the New Oaks AI podcast for now. It's episode 40 something, I believe. I'm pulling up some edits here that we're working on right now for the recent podcast that we just did yesterday evening. And Ray is also working on some really cool advancements, not only in the AI chatbot space, but now he's just built EasySite.ai, which you see here being represented on the screen. I'm in my DaVinci editor right now, editing the podcast from last night. So this is a new website builder that he has, an AI builder, but it not only builds websites, it builds full stack. So anything you can think of, whether it's a software app or anything, and I'll be showing you that here in just a minute, but wanted to give you an idea that things are definitely in flux. A lot of stuff shifts in this, area of AI where we're at, because things advance all the time. So, what I wanted to also bring up here, let me bring my window back for a second. Looks like it fell behind me here. Hold on, I gotta move my window back over. All right, let's get another window up here. I just lost my Chrome tab. Okay, so back to AIO CRM. And I've gone over this in another video in the past, but it wasn't really geared at the podcast time. So I want to get you guys more in line with where we're headed next. Underneath the academy is where we will have coursework moving forward when we decide to build out a course. All right. That's not first priority for us right now. We would prefer to teach people in a workshop and then make that a course than anything. So we've been really just trying to play catch up over the last 6 or 8 months, maybe a year now, on trying to maintain what's the hottest, what's the best, what's the latest type of atmosphere. And that's going to dwindle down. It's going to become an area where it's not really so much about, oh, what's coming next, what's coming next. Everybody will always be watching down the horizon, but there's going to start to come a point where some of these things that we utilize with AI are going to kind of lock in place, and we're going to start applying things a certain way. And when it comes to what we call turnkey, we want everybody to have access to everything they need to be able to build what they want. So, in that case, you've seen two of the products that I've offered in the past. One is AIO Flow. This is a SaaS product. This is literally, if I were to log into the product, let's see if I can go ahead and get in here right now. This is basically a setup that allows us to build AI agents, what we call in our end AIO agents or all in one agents. I don't claim for these to be fully autonomous in any way, shape, or form at this time. And I won't, because of the fact that they aren't. There is a lot to be said when it comes to what you build in an AI agent, what it's capable of doing, and how it responds and how it functions, and cost factors when it comes to voice, SMS, email, those types of things that are plugged into it as a tool. So we're continuously building tools on the back end of the CRM system, because this is everything. This is an all-in-one system. This allows us to build the landing pages, like the Best AI TV website that you go to fill out the forms. It also has a stage that we broadcast to on occasion as a worldwide stage so that people can see us without having to go to social networks. The homepage is basically built within that entire structure. So this website that you go to fill out the form to get your notification of the podcast is built within the AIO infrastructure. And within that same infrastructure, we also have the ability to maintain all of our client database. We have the ability to run through all of our email and chat and filter through smart buckets that we use to process mail in different ways, whether it's AI handled or not. We have the ability to create all kinds of really cool forms that we use inside our systems. For instance, let's say we just want form to fill out to get a book or a guide that I'm selling. So I have a coupon code and where to send my guide. I can add this to any web page and then utilize the hooks that I have on the back end to connect a form to a flow. And now I have, for instance, the Best AI podcast show notification is just that. It is a workflow. It's an AI driven workflow or AI enhanced workflow. And what this allows me to do is, as people go fill out the form, or if I add a send Best AI podcast tag to a user inside my system, that tag is going to fire off the workflow. Okay, so it's basically whenever that tag gets applied. If you fill out the form, the tag gets applied. If I apply it manually, the tag gets applied. And then what happens is it waits for a period of time, and that's really just until the next Tuesday that the podcast is going to take place. And then we generate a short email using some variables that are assigned within the system to apply to things like the subject, the salutation, the body, the call to action, and the close, the signature, things of that nature. And these emails are generated automatically. Now, I wouldn't call this autonomous per se, but it is in a sense. What we normally mean by autonomous is hands off. Okay, no human interaction is necessary. In a case like an email situation like this, well, if an email busts or breaks or doesn't come to fruition, then obviously that's going to have to be handled by a human. Or if the internet goes down or anything like that. So, can we fully rely on this to be always autonomous? We hope so. That's the intent. With the data that it creates, now we have a notification that goes out full of variables. Okay. And these are customized. So the AI knows a little bit about the person in my CRM. They've got some data to work with, and they're able to kind of spell out, hey, Tom, remember last time you were at the podcast, you mentioned I could go there if I wanted to. I'm not spending a lot of time digging that deep into a personalized automation, though I could. You could tell people, hey, great weather you're having over there in Utah. We heard there was an event that just, sorry about the earthquake kind of thing in California. I mean, there's all kinds of ways you can personalize based on your client's location, things they've done within your pipeline, purchases they've made within your system or outside of your system, things that you just know about them that you've tagged as keywords according to their CRM system. You want to be able to identify your people with certain tags so you know why they're in your system, what they're purchasing from you, what they're using within the system. And that's just a brief example. So that's one leg of what we kind of do with this. We have the agents built in, we have all our calendar bookings built in. So if we need to assign, so this is Calendly basically. If we wanted to meet with someone, we simply share with them the link that we have here. So this is the booking page. It's literally built right into the system. So when we send it to someone, this is what they see. They can assign a meeting time. And then we've also gone as far, this has pipelines. So when it comes to Kanban boards, I'm just now building out some new ones for the bots. And then we also have a marketplace inside AIO that allows us to work with other individuals that have built other agents for other means, where we can just come over here and grab an AI employee. It's like, what do you need it for? Well, I need one for customer approval, or I need one for customer qualification, or maybe I need a data collection bot. Maybe I need a follow-up bot. So I can come over here and just pick an employee that's going to be assigned that task to finalize. We have a full VoIP system within AIO Flow, which allows us to personalize. We have recorded voicemails if we want call logs of everything that takes place on the system. We can upload recordings. We also have conference room hotlines here, so you can bring more than one or two people into a party line. From that, the tracks, this is kind of showing how everything connects. That's not an issue, but we've also worked with some other vendors to provide interior services that you won't find in other softwares. And one of them is our high intent data enrichment. Thanks to Russ McCamey, he's been able to provide us some services on the back end here where we can go and actually find high intent lead data for people that require it for their business, especially those who are constantly looking for hundreds of leads a month that need to run processes. We then apply an email campaign to that, and it works out really well. There's also within the AIO system, I have a few accounts for the VIPs out here. If you're one of those people that really like to play inside a publishing system, similar to maybe Hootsuite or something like that, where you can go ahead and provide all of your data within. I do have several Postly accounts available for the first comers. I don't normally advertise this, but I do have them available. I think I got over a dozen of them left. But those would be made, those would be granted to the people who would really use them. And then I also have just recently added what we call AIO Sniper. And this has just gone through a really huge update. We're really proud of what we've got here. And I can't, really claim all the glory for this because I didn't put it all together, but we were given access to this fully so that we can use it at our leisure. And it's really kind of cool. If you want to check it out, it's sniper.aioflow.com. And it's also built into the AIO Flow system. But this gives us a way to help people develop leads, pull in prospects, do a little scraping, find some emails throughout. And these are all legitimate processes that are available with any of the tools that are out there now, but it's now been centralized in such a way with a bunch of AI powered features as well. For data extraction, email and cold email setup. It has its own CRM built within it. So it's kind of a duplicate aspect when it comes to CRM storage. But with what we've been doing with Jim over at CribOps, what we're really finding now is that CribOps is going to be the central hub when it comes to everything that we do connecting other exterior softwares. And the reason we can say that is because what he's put together here allows us to maintain more control over the webhooks that we use. And I'll define webhook in short terms. A webhook is a means to get data from another source offline online system that might have just the weather. All right, I could go to a weather hub or weather bug and tap the back end of their system, which is called an API or an advanced programming interface. It allows me then to make a request from the weather bug as to what is the weather in my locale. based on a zip code, based on a city state, based on a time zone, whatever. That way I can pull that data and then use it somewhere else. For instance, on a, let's say, a personalized email, I could say, hey, weather looks really good down there in Arizona today, blah blah blah, and the way I did that was simply pulling a webhook from WeatherBug and knowing that that person was in wherever, Nevada or what have you, and it's sunny, so I can include that in the email personalization that goes out. And we can do that with a lot of other aspects as well. Events that are taking place within a certain location, restaurants of interest that might be in the area, things of that nature. So there's a lot of really cool stuff we could apply to the email as it goes out. Now, Jim has helped me over the last just few days, honestly, just last weekend. If you know, I've been mentioning that my build is on an M1 Mac Mini. And the way we run automations here at AIO, and I'm going to come over here for a second. I'm going to close this database out because there's really not much to it. I'm going to quit this app. What we have here is the operational end of CribOps. And what it's allowing us to do basically is when we create a web endpoint, we can just set up the endpoint here, and that develops a queue that's stacking all the calls. And then if our systems go down in house, we have a place where all the calls were made that we can then continue the workflow and not have it broken because our systems weren't up and running. Now, Jim's providing areas for us to add our own listing prompts, where he's going to actually create this to where it's going to have a user and system prompt access. And then you build your organization, you connect it to your N8N account through a node, and then you move on. And the really cool thing that we're going to be seeing here, in now that I have mine up and running, let's just head over here for a second. And that glitching you're seeing is thanks to Riverside, by the way. That's not me. It's something it does during the screen share. It kind of messes with the typing and everything for some reason. So I'm going to have to do this. See if I can get there real quick. Oh, it's not going to let me. It's a weird bug inside Riverside, so I can't really do anything with that right now. The email is another thing I wanted to show you. Yeah, there's something stuck. I got a key stuck here somewhere. It's a scrolling key. There we go. Maybe that'll let me do it. All right. Yep, I got a key stuck somewhere. Hold on a second. See if I can fix this. Or it's the wheel mouse. Something's definitely stuck. Let me close it. Let's see if I can get it out of there. Okay. Close that. I'm going to just close this all down for a second. It's because I'm going through two boxes here. That's why it's giving me a hard time. Okay, so basically, what I wanted to show you was this. And the way we run N8N here at Best Studios is not through what you would call the standard interface through the website. We don't actually pay for N8N. And then there's a reason why. It's because it's a community version, which allows us unlimited access to the software for the most part when it comes to workflows, not for all the really cool bells and whistles they've added to N8N for their own cloud version, but it does give us a lot of power. Now, Jim has worked alongside of the fact that I brought him in to say, hey, we got to find a better way. He said Postgres. And I was like, okay, whatever. I'm not sure. I knew what Postgres was. Postgres is a 20 plus year long-standing database platform, and it has lots of really cool bells, whistles, extensions, plugins, and it's powerful and it's solid. So when we saw a bunch of people using Google Sheets, Airtable, AI Table, which we use ourselves, we started to question, well, we started to run into a lot of limitations. And I can show you what I mean by that real quick. Like if I head over just to a standard, like for instance, my AI Table account, let's say, if I were to head over here, and I'll give you an idea of like the limitations that we run into. And one of them right off the bat is the number of processes we can pull off at a time, making requests back and forth to apps like N8N and Make. So we're building out a platform inside AI Table, which is our AIO CRM. It's another version of it, basically. And this, we've given ourselves a dashboard. This is based on Stephen G. Pope's N8N build, honestly. It was something that the no-code architect had built himself. And then we revamped it for AI table. He had put it together under Airtable. And we went a whole nother way with it. So this allows us to enter leads, based on deal size, the people that we're dealing with, the lead status, whether it's triage, active, no show, ghosted, declined, what have you, and then a pipeline status as well. So we get an idea who they are and what they're about by adding knowledge to the database. That can be in the form of PDFs, transcripts, video, type process, whatever you want to add to this, we could. But that's the real reason for the need for the larger database structure using Postgres. Makes it much more lean, mean, and monstrous, you might say, at the same time. So the high, data form is quite extensive. There's a lot of data when it comes to what we pull and try to add to your contacts. So we're enriching your contacts with some high intent data enrichment. And that's really what we have as an internal offering inside of something outside, if you know what I mean. And the reason I say that is everybody has their own flavor. There's Monday, there's HubSpot, there's Salesforce, there's Pipedrive. There's so many different applications that people are running to maintain their databases. If they're even running one, they might just be using a Google Sheet or an Excel spreadsheet, something like that. So when they're using it that way, we find it's much easier to get into some type of graphical user interface or GUI, which you'll hear a lot. And we want people to be able to just click a few buttons and get the results that they want and not have to work with code, not have to work with stubborn, utilities and things of that nature. But that's really why we developed these flows. And what we're hoping to do in the end, for instance, with the N8N builds that we're going to do, and I'll be showing you guys how I do all these. And a lot of these are just little things. They could be a prompt flow or a connection to another app, for instance, just to connect Postgres and CribOps. We've got this little agent that we built as a demo to show people how we're taking a RAG agent, adding an OpenAI client, but we're using Postgres for the chat memory. And we're also using Postgres as a PG vector store, which allows us to then do SQL queries off of the database so that if, for instance, we have somebody sends us an email and it's a sales guy and he's trying to buy something, or maybe it's a customer that wants an answer to a question about the system. If we've stored our data properly inside our PG vector store, then this allows our AI agent to pull data as an SQL query from the agent store and answer potential questions from customers or even emails that come in from other sources. So we need to first, obviously, and this is just a binary version of the same thing if we were to upload data to it. So it's basically the agent, and this comes from Nate Herc. If you don't know Nate, great guy, deep voice like mine. No, he does some really cool work with automations. He's been doing it for years. He's made millions, I'm sure, off of the process. Me, I'm not going to sit out here and claim I've made millions of dollars on WordPress or Word workflows because we're just now building these out for people. And the beauty of it is we've spent the last few years just learning how to do it. And it was some of the guys before us, like Nate, who built a lot of stuff in Make and then moved over to N8N to help, a new platform basically, and saw its potential and realized, wow, there's a lot here that we could be using instead. So Make is definitely another platform that we'll be covering. But before I go there, let's head back for just a second to the whole AIO process and give you a better understanding of where we're going to go with this. So I'm going to head over back to just aiocrm.org. And I'm going to run through some of the other stuff here. I've mentioned the community, which you're welcome to go join at aiocrm.org/portal. I don't know if I have any text here for that one yet. I probably don't. But I will put the portal up on the website very soon. So if you want, just this one's here. So if you go to aiocrm.org, I'll put a text in for that later. You'll get a link basically to all the other websites. And I will be rebuilding, most likely, the chatbots and the agents and another version of the agents that I have available. I have four really cool AI-based chatbot builders. And in one way or another, we're going to start giving out some demos of these to people who arrive at the show or what have you, and be able to let people experience what it's like to have one of these. We have a few of them in action, a lot of them actually, by different people in different areas. And we'll also get into the post bot aspect, which is one of our best workflows that we've put together over time. Works flawlessly. If you're watching me from LinkedIn, sorry to say, those posts out there, you can thank Postbot. They may sound like me, they may look like me, they may actually come across like me most of the time. And I'm really glad that all of the prompting and the time I've put in to build that particular bot has been able to drive engagement on LinkedIn. A lot of people are commenting on my posts, which I appreciate. And I try to follow up. I read every post that the AI builds for me and make sure that it's on key. But I have to also allow it some freedom to just run on its own because I don't have time to track my posts every day. I do like to just go back and see, like, for the last 3 days, what did it post? And then see that people are commenting on it to me. And I'm like, wow, this is great. This is better engagement than I've gotten on anything like Facebook or YouTube over the years, only because it's a different space for me, I think. But also that there's a very limited amount of content creators on LinkedIn. If you look at the numbers, there's really only like 4 or 5% of the people that are on LinkedIn that are posting content and providing a sense of value in that regard. A lot of the other ones are trolling. And you'll find with the what they call the great resignation of the last few years with COVID and such, a lot of people going to working at home. There are a lot of C-suite executives that have decided to retire or call it, the end of their career, and yet they want to open a business now. They want to start their own little enterprise or their own little, shindig, and they've seen all of these AI agent aspects of, well, you don't need an employee stack to build a business now, and so they're interested and they want to see what's going on in the space. And we've been playing in this space for several years, all in all, with what we have going. But AI kind of caught me by surprise with how fast it did what it did. Because I know a lot of people that know me out there that are looking at me like, yeah, well, we told you 3 years before that. And yeah, you did. And I didn't think it was going to take off like I thought it would, because VR and AR was another space that was the virtual reality space was it's been around since the 60s, honestly. If you don't know that, go look up the background story for AR and VR. We're just now getting the computing power we really needed to make a reality of VR and AR. And I think we'll see a lot of advancements there. I'm not one to put a headset on and just roll all day with a headset. I'm not, or iSet, head, whatever you want to call it. I'm not into that. That's not me. A lot of people love that stuff. Give me that clear board like on Terminator where they're just sliding stuff around on the screen, or on Castle. We just saw a replay of Castle the other day. It was on that when the FBI agent showed up. Really cool stuff. I would love that. Not my gig as far as the VR headsets. But to mention the chatbots, and then I'll probably wrap it up here in a few. I just wanted to go over the organization so that you guys get a better idea of how we're going to approach, the podcast and things going forward. We're going to bring a lot of this to the table and let you see how we built it, what it's built from, how it works, and how it could be applied in your business, because this isn't just for show anymore. This might look like a bit of hype. It's, I get it. I play a little bit and I like to make my stuff kind of different. But the idea behind AIO chatbots and AIO agents in general is to provide a tool set that can help you work more efficiently using less time and less effort. We would never claim, at least I won't, that these chatbots are fully autonomous, that they do everything with very little supervision, because they don't. Not yet, anyway. We talk about it a lot. Now, this one's much different in regard to the one that we have within AIO Flow, which is a very good AIO agent. But its speech is text to speech to voice, which means you talk, it turns your voice to text, then it converts it into a process, and then it talks back to you in text that gets converted into voice. So there's this lengthy process, and it is pretty quick, but the voice to voice that was built by GPT is much different. It's literally a voice with inflection being recorded and interpreted as an audio file, and then also responded to in kind as an audio file, not any kind of text interpretation in between. So it doesn't have to translate or interpret the text, convert it to text, and then try to convert it back to voice. And that's really just this. So what we're going to do is take from that. Whoops, sorry. I'm going to close Best Live TV over here. So what we want to do in that regard is with the AI chatbots, AIO chatbots, and the AIO agents, which are within the system itself. And this is actually one right here. This is part of the agent. This happens to be Atlas, the one that I've built, which is an embedded agent. So Atlas has 12 other agents working for it. You might not know that, but I've shown this several times over in the past. It's just I simply ask every now and then. I hear you have let's call it subordinates working for you. Can you give me their names and duties? And see what he says. I'm not sure it's going to respond the way I want to in this, but I've used this as an example in the past. And because we built it in this way, now we'll be able to add tools to Atlas, which will allow him to call booking calendars. There we go. It did work. So what I have here basically at Best Studios is a team of specialists that are coordinated by Atlas, and those are named Alpha, Bravo, Delta, Echo, Charlie, or I'm sorry, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, Forge, Apex, Archer, Ranger, Scout, Striker, and Vector. And you can kind of see their purposes are right along the lines of their names. I developed the name structure to coincide with what it is they do. And that is Bravo is basically all about market analysis and growth initiatives. Charlie's obviously our customer support agent. Delta is all about coordinating timelines and resource allocation. Echo handles communications and campaign management, along with automation processes. Forge is responsible for content creation. Now, I've shown this one several times in the past where I just ask it to copyright me a form letter for the business to fire someone. And it's capable of giving me the output right here within the chat widget, which is nice for me. It's not good if I have this open to the public all the time where people can just come over here and develop content all day long, because then that costs me money. But the idea here is to provide a tool set where people can simply access these features within a single bot. And that's something that it was also put together in another format, on another build similar to these. If you've seen some of the other bot builders out there, they are starting to anyway link and add other like minions to these processes, so you have like a whole slew of agents that are doing work for you. And I'll be dropping some of those in the community as well. So that's really the gist of what AIO is incorporated around. And what I mean by that is the AIO CRM, or Customer Relations Management System, is all about having a CRM connected to a workflow system that allows you to either create products within it. It allows you the ability to be part of the community that is AIO Academy and learn from what we build as we build it. It also gives you the access to not only some of the top line AIO chatbots and agents on the planet right now, honestly, except for some of the really, really expensive ones. And these aren't cheap, don't get me wrong. These are things that we provide as a service. So the pricing pages are there. You can simply go take a look. I'm not here to sell you these today. The Academy, again, will continue to grow, we hope, alongside of the community. And as we continue to build out products such as AIO Postbot, this is one in particular that we've put together recently. Now, the prompt bot's available for free. If anybody wanted to come over here and just create a prompt that is generated based on business content, so that you get an idea, like how would I prompt my agent? What kind of prompt would I give them? Or what else can you pull out of this information? Go for it. See what you come of it, because this is actually tied to my internal build. So it's creating content internally. The post bot is a little different. Now, I'll schedule a call with anybody that wants to see how we provide content creation using AI to service every one of your social networks except X. X was part of that for a long time. And with the API mess that Elon has made over at X, Make has pulled the module from their system. I'm not sure NADN has done the same. They just got a really huge influx of cash capital from a VC, in the tune of like 60 million. So that's given them a lot of play and pull in the market. We're building this one in particular on Make. And if you go to the front page, you'll kind of get a concept image of what it is and what it's for. This is the actual build. This is one that was structured inside Make. You can see it here in all its glory. In some sense, it's not made available to the public for particular reasons, obviously. Um, but what this one is capable of doing is maintaining an RSS feed from your niche, the leaders in your niche. It creates summaries of the content and then actually creates posts from those summaries for Facebook, Instagram, what was X, LinkedIn, and creates an audio file actually that you could use as a postscript or a video script for any other audio content that you would want to make. And then it's all stored back into the database. And in this particular case, we're using Airtable. So, but that could be substituted for Google Sheets. It could be substituted for Airtable versus AI table. Sorry, I think I said Airtable, and any other database structure, even an Excel spreadsheet, that nature. And the way it's all managed is through not only the RSS feed generation, which it does automatically every morning, but it also has the ability to create posts with a simple entry into a form. So let me kind of give you an idea how that works, and then we'll call it a day. So as far as the post bot goes, and then I do have one other one that I want to talk about before I close it up, but I'm just going to log into my Make account here real quick and sign in with Google. And what we're going to find, oh, this one might break it. I got to go the other way. Sorry, I got to sign in with name and password. It doesn't work that way. Okay, so inside my Make account, which if you're a new AI company, I highly recommend you go buy a founder's pass. If you buy the founder's pass, you'll be able to get Make for free for a year. It's about a $650 value. You can see I received one, which is 240,000 iterations for the course of the year. I've only used like 20,000. It's good till June. So I'm going to start really pumping some content out of this. But the idea behind the scenario for PostBot is pretty straightforward. It's simple. We're generating content from an RSS feed. We're sending it here. Let me click on here, make it bigger. We're sending that to AI table to store the article that we're starting with, and then we let Perplexity create a summary of the article. From there, it routes it to several locations. One is to store the summary in the AI table, and the other is to head over to Anthropic and ChatGPT to produce content based on the summary. Then it creates images based on the posts that it creates from the summary. And then from there, the content is posted onto the various social networks and then stored as posted content inside the database. So we can go back and check exactly what was put on the screen. We can just refer to the database instead of having to go track down the post on Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Now, again, we've been having trouble with the X factor, let's call it. So we pulled that. It's no longer part of the build. It's simply the Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We could add other social networks to this if required. That's going to be obviously an extra build cost. But when it comes to just templating this and being able to sell this template, we provide this straight up. You open an account, you drop it in your account, we'll maintain it for you. And that's it. It could be customized to certain extents. And then there's, full disclosure, you can make this as big as you want. But this is one particular service that we sell. So if you're interested in the AIO postbot, just give me a call on the 800 number and we'll follow through. Other than that, let's head over to one that we're really excited about working on here soon. And I'm just now getting to the point where it's going to start doing something. I'm going to load it real quick so you can see it. And this will even give you an idea how we load a workflow here. I'm just simply going to import from a file. And I have a build over here that I'm going to grab off my desktop, I think. Let's see, I should have it in a folder here. I'm simply going to take this email processor here. And I have two of them. I have an incoming and a finality. So I'm going to open this one first and give you a quick rundown. This is going to be fast. This is a recent build that we just did. We call it Inbox Zero. It's not the name. It's going to finalize it, but it's going to be close. This is a new way for us to use N8N to use a basic LLM chain to go through our email and categorize it based on 10 categories, tag the email, and then untag or remove tags from the inbox and the updates portion so that it can then simply move your mail from one location into another, allowing you to not have to think that your mailbox is stuffed. And you can take a look at mine real quick. This is my Gmail account for Best Studios LLC. My primary tab is empty. My promotions tab is full of promotions from Google, and my updates come in randomly based on whatever email I'm getting. Now, I haven't run my bot in a while. So, what you're going to find while I do my next videos is I'm going to run this bot on my system. And the way we do that is we simply bring in all these emails, usually 100 at a time, and we take the unread mail and then we just tag it in certain ways. We classify it, categorize it, and let the LLM do its thing. You've seen videos probably of me running this platform. And once it's done this, then we can actually come back. Yeah, let's put a name on this real quick. Okay, so that's V2. We'll just say this is incoming. So the reason we use, well, this is the general, this is the cleanup one. So then from here, we would load up another flow, which will be used after the fact. And we would add this workflow, same way. I need to import that from a file. And I'm going to take the Gmail processor, which is actually, I got a few of these. And I have an email one like it as well for Microsoft Mail. So this looks identical, but the reason this is a separate flow is because one is firing a trigger by getting all the message. The other is firing a trigger when the mail comes in. And this would be the incoming mail, so that every time mail comes into the system, it's just going to pick it up and send it where it needs to go. The first one that I showed you was necessary to gut the email box first and set up all the categories so that it starts to sort the email. And that's really the gist of it. So as we move ahead in the process of building over at AIO Academy, be sure to head over. Just simply follow the link at aiocrm.org. On the main page, you'll find all of the different websites that are connected to the AIO brand. But if you want to just reach out to me personally or find everything that we do and just want to have a discussion about AI and what have you, head over to Best Studios LLC. This is where Commander Atlas is fully functional. Well, he will be. We're still actually tweaking him a little. So if he does fail out, don't be surprised. We have our server statuses as far as the system's running, how everything's operating, whether it's up and going or whether we're having any issues. Boost Space today is fully operational, but we're going to be queuing up some server data over there as well. And the service request portal is currently down. I had an issue with a third-party server source. For some reason, this access has been blocked, so we're looking to make sure we get that up and running again as soon as possible. This is where you would go to make requests to me for services. And right now, it's a little difficult for the UI to be functional, so you're just going to have to reach out personally. This gives a better idea of how things are operating over here when it comes to our AI automations. If you click on our cloud framework and our SaaS CRM listings, you'll find all of our websites, along with some of the ones I didn't talk about today, like Bessel, Storehouse, and Sibling. You can also reach out and call or talk to Charlie a little bit if you want on the phone. Other than that, the pricing here is bound to reset for 2025. This is more set up for an all-in-one solution. And the reason we put it that way is we want people to have a turnkey. So the one thing I didn't cover over here at AIO would be the AIO hosting. And what that allows us to do here is provide a 1A, 2A friendly hosting platform for people who want to store their websites, use a cPanel. This is the latest cPanel build that we have available. So we are rocking that out pretty well. My A host is Jim Hankins of Cloud Bedrock. So I utilize basically a reseller platform here. We utilize the SiteJet Builder, which is a really cool drag and drop site builder, along with a WordPress management system inside of our CRM. So this is a WordPress version of our CRM build, and we haven't even touched on that yet. So not only do we have the AIO Flow build, which is of its own, it's on its own servers. We also have the AIO CRM build, which is another CRM built for WordPress, which utilizes a lot of various AIO plugins. It also utilizes a lot of Fluent plugins, such as Fluent Community, which is what the community is built on right now. So I would highly recommend you get over there and sign up so that you can see what's happening every day at aiocrm.org/portal. That'll get you to the main login page. You'll see a different screen, obviously, but once you get here, just tap the start here, say hello, And then the green room is where most of the people will congregate and meet up and see posts about others, but don't, just click on the feed here, and this will show you posts as they're coming through. So this could be from any section. So if this might happen to be dropped into the N8N section, you're only going to see it over here in the N8N automation section. So if you click on N8N workflows, there's that same post that you saw in the feed. So make sure if you're in the green room, you're just posting to the green room. This will just be generic stuff. I'm also going to have some topics of discussion that you can tag your posts with. You can pin some of your posts to your own profile, because you will have a personal profile that you can work in here on the platform, just like you do in school. You'll add your social links and any other information you want for a bio, add an image and a post, and start posting. So you can come right over here on your own profile as well. Uh, Join a space. We've got a bunch of them right now. A lot of them are geared toward various aspects of AI, like music creation, automation builders. So whatever's tweaking your interest right now, click on it and it will send me a notification so that I know you're interested, and then I'll let you into that space. Otherwise, we've just got people posting all kinds of stuff on all different spaces that they might lose track of where they're posting. And rather than have people posting in spaces that are irrelevant, I would much rather have the invite come in and then have you guys get the access to that space once I know you're interested. So that's all I got for you today. It's been a full hour of broadcasting, so I'm going to stop sharing. I just want to thank all the contributors who have been a part of Best AI Podcast for the last, 6, 8 months at least. I think it's been over a year now. No, it's been over a year, I think, since we started. So when you see episode 31, it's not really all the broadcasts we did. That's just what we were able to keep track of for the time being. We did a lot of workshops in that time as well. So what I'm hoping to do going forward is we will continue to come out here Wednesday at 12. That's just the go for. We want to be able to provide access to us, and that means me for the most part. But Kyrie will also be playing a big part in this. I know he just wasn't available today, so I've talked with him last week about the two of us coming out here regularly. Lee would like to still be a big part of this, and like I said, he's going through his eye surgery, so we're just going to give him some time to heal up and recover. Hopefully, Lee will make it over here one day or another. The rest we'll check in on regularly, make sure what their world of AI is like, and see what their advancements, the things they're just pushing forward are. Because I think a lot of us that have collabed over the years have realized that we have to kind of break away at some point and find our own wings under the guise of what are we going to do with AI? How are we going to apply it to our business personally? And if we're always sitting around showing it off, how are we going to do that? So we did have to step back a little bit and decide, where our focus was going to lie. And for Jim and I, we'll be spending a lot of time showing everyone how to run crib ops and a self-hosted N8N build, how to connect crib ops to the apps like N8N, Make, Late Node, and Active Pieces. We also have an Active Pieces self-hosted build here at Best Studio, so we'll be going through some of that as well with all of the MCP modules, which, again, this is getting into much newer territory, so don't fear the acronyms. That will be a next phase that we do. Jim's going to add MCP to his CribOps app so that we can build nodes that are available with an API backend for people to use as tools. And we're really excited about it. So if you want to find out more about what we do out here, simply head over to bestai.tv, fill out the form, you'll get notified. Or you can just, stop by any of the locations like we also have at Best AI TV on YouTube. You can just head over there and subscribe, ring the bell, make sure we know you're there. And then some of the other things that we do, we're here on Riverside FM. Give them a ring. If this is something you like, it's great for recording. I'm not going to knock Riverside for that at all. We may change the format up a little bit. We had some complications with some of the stuff we wanted to use this for, but we really love the branding. We love the way the site operates, and it's given us the ability to stream into LinkedIn a lot easier than what we would have to do otherwise. So, and if you do want to just head over to see me at any time, you can ding me on Facebook or LinkedIn, send me an IM, DM, whatever you guys call them on your end of the world, and we'd be happy to respond. So hope to see you in the next broadcast, where it'll probably be Kyrie and myself or whoever else decides to stop by. So thanks so much for being a part of the Best AI podcast, and we'll see you next week. Have a great week, everyone.
We're breaking the mold. With AI fusion, let the story unfold. From art to business, the future is here. Unlock the potential, make it crystal clear. It's time to fuse, let the sparks ignite. AI in action, reaching new heights. Love and business blending into one. AI fusion, the journey's just